Gosh, I've been on mute this entire time. ah. Hello, hello. Ah. Hello, Two Spaces. Welcome on in. Ah. Welcome to Monday. It is a very cloudy Monday, but a Monday that I don't expect any streaming issues, so here I am at my usual time. And welcome, I guess. Proper welcome to the TextArt Academy. As most people know, if they know me from BattleBits, or not from BattleBits, I guess. I don't know. BattleBits is the only place where people know me as a, I guess, high-level text artist. And as well, I'm a text art enthusiast. So I figured, might as well. I did do a stream like this before, 2 weeks ago, and that got completely screwed by weather. This time, we do not have any of those problems. So let me get the, hold on. Where is it? There it is. Look at that. I was just in the middle of making the logo for this as well. All over the place today. I'm all over the place. I guess I'll explain the reason why later on. But for right now, we will get started with this. So, hi. I am your instructor. And this is TextArt. TextArt is essentially the creation of art through different characters, different textural characters, I should say, as in the things that you write, that you draw in order to communicate in a written format. So, for example, dashes, letters, numbers, symbols, etc., etc. An example of that I will be doing right now. This is DOS text art, so a little bit more, I don't want to say advanced, but like capable sort of text art. There we go. Look at that. Actually, let me center that a little bit. Hold on. Look at that. So text art takes many different shapes and sizes, and I guess I'll start off by giving like a brief history of text art, right? So, text art. I guess technically gotta start with hieroglyphics back in ancient Egypt, as well as ornamental letters in Celtic manuscripts. Essentially, art and text were essentially two interlinked things, and kind of always been for years and 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 okay, I have filled up the caption box. Okay, cool. Yeah. So, text art as we know it didn't really get its start until the advent of the typewriter, in which, you know, I'll bring up some visual examples up, actually. Let me close other tabs. Close all these tabs. And, Alice in Wonderland. You know, give one sec for this. Text art is... There we go. There we go. So this is a book called Art Typing. Text art, as we know it today, didn't get started until the 1960s. There were primitive examples before, such as Alice in Wonderland, for example. And basically just poetry of the time. There are certain pieces of poetry that are great examples of creative typography. But text art as we know it, the formation of images through characters, did not start until, I guess, the 1960s with this book by Dr. Nathan Crivellin called Art Typing. Let me actually crop this a little bit so it's not... There we go. There we go. A little bit nicer. So, yeah. Nathan Crivellin made this book, or rather published this book in 1962. And as you can see, there are many different examples of pretty primitive, if I'm being quite honest, text art. You know, a lot of images made using X's and whatnot. I think this transistor portable radio is the only one that doesn't primarily uses X's, and it still uses X's. There's probably others in here as well, if you look close enough. But I think on this page, it's just that. But, yeah. First example of what many call ASCII art now was seen in this book. Of course, it also contains examples of more recent styles of, or at the very least, more contemporary styles of text art, such as using underscores, using parentheses, as well as, you know, ASCII typography. There are a lot of examples of things that people, I guess, do nowadays. More so with different characters, like, for example, this price list being made of dollar signs. This would literally, if this was being made today by someone of, like, I guess calling it the modern era, someone that isn't from the 1960s, if this was made by them, they would probably use the individual layers to make these. And yeah. There's a lot of different ideas here. You know, there's a Valentine's card, there's a Happy New Year card that has a very ominous hourglass, George Washington, a rabbit. Yeah, it's very primitive. It's very primitive, but it kind of had to be for being like the first text art thing out there, right? And then when you get into, say, the 1970s and 1980s, the teletype operators were the primary people behind text art of that era. Now, teletype, of course, isn't entirely artistic, right? You're operating a machine to communicate with others. But if I can just find... Actually, I have it in my notes, so hold on. There's this really good page for text art's history that I implore people to check out. It's called The History of ASCII Text Art. So I will pin that up there. Say for 60 minutes, yeah. But yeah, old reference, but still, I guess, a little bit relevant nowadays. Yeah, let me just... There we go. Cool. So, ASCII art. Got more of its, and here's what I was saying earlier about, you know, creative typography. Poems nowadays have a lot of creative typography and formatting, and as well, Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland also had it, which is seen right here. But anyway, going down here, teletype. Teletype was the main standard of, you know, communicating with others before computers got really, really good at doing that. So a lot of ASCII art of that time, which of course gets its name from, you know, the American Standard Code for information interchange, basically before Unicode, right? ASCII art was primarily pioneered by these people, and they were even, like, you know, they were not artists by, like, you know, by trade. They were mainly just, like, people running communication stations, you know, whatever that communication station's purpose was, kind of, you know, varied from station to station. But as well, there's different archives and programs for this kind of stuff. So I implore you to check all that out when you have the time. But as we go on, teletype is outphased. We won't cover punch card art, but teletype was phased out in basically phased out because of, or in favor of computer ASCII. So, for example, there's the Commodore standard font, better known as petscii. There is the Atari standard font at the time called ascii. There were a lot of different standards. So, for example, if I can get the petscii font up. So, let me see if I can... There we go. So, this is from a paper from an certain... Yeah. The, if I remember correctly, this is the Polish Journal of Game Studies. Yeah. So, Polish Journal of Game Studies did a paper from Dr. Reuanin and co. that basically covered petscii in depth. And as you can see, petscii was definitely made to essentially make graphics with it should you not have like a sprite sheet loaded into the Commodore 64 or the the Commodore Pad, whichever Commodore computer you had at the time, basically. So yeah, a lot of this was pipe characters, block characters, dithering characters, mathematical characters as well, depending on what version you had. It went all over the place. So that's petscii, and then as well there is different standards for different computers. So obviously IBM had its own standard. That is called ANSI, short for the American National Standards Institute, which you can see here. The ANSI art that you see from artists such as myself and from groups such as ICE and ACID from way back in the 1980s and 1990s primarily proliferated on BBSs, or bulletin board systems. So a lot of that was, not as simple as this, right? A lot of it was very complex. If I can actually find it real quick, it should be, let me see here, 16 colors. There's a huge resource for ANSI art called 16 Colors, right? I'm not going to show it on screen because some of the stuff that they put out is lewd, and I do not want to get banned immediately because I accidentally showed anatomical feature that cannot be shown on Twitch. So I'm going to see if I can get a certain art piece from a pack, maybe a more impressive one. Hold on. So maybe just get an ice pack. No. Okay, here. So a lot of BBS art, a lot of it, I should say. If I can download this, I probably can't. Yeah, I can't. Oh well. A lot of BBS art, essentially, if I can get on screen, looked a lot like this, right? So a lot of it was very, I guess, technical, for lack of a better term. You'd be logged in to use this menu. Okay, fine. I will log in. I will not log in, actually. I will just scroll manually. So, So, as you can see, a lot of ansi art was very much different from, say, petscii art. Petscii art, whereas petscii art was mainly predicated on using different symbols, a lot of different symbols to make its art. Most ascii art, or ansi art rather, most ansi art was predicated on using the block characters primarily and the dithering characters in order to make their pieces. For example, this one, See You Ooze .ice from one of the ice packs in 1996 is mainly made using, or mainly constructed using these block characters and these dithering characters, right? So, not dissimilar to, say, tile painting on an old school retro console, like an NES or something like that. As well, not dissimilar to pixel art in general, since a lot of it uses the principles of pixel art, i.e., dithering, all that goodness. As you have probably no doubt noticed, my primary text art style of choice is ansi art. Mainly because it's the one that I've gravitated to the most over the years, and yeah. I guess I could break out one of my own, just to kind of show you an example. It's probably going to be one of the more simpler ones. Let me see here. Oh, did I not save it? Oh, whatever. I guess never mind. I will show you one of the more wild ones. So, first time this will actually show up properly. Let's see here. That will be... There we go. So this is a comic that I made over the course of half a year, right? Let me actually get a scroll going. And as you can see, a lot of this, mainly, unlike most ansi art from back in the 90s and the late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s, etc., unlike those, it more or less used a lot of the character set of the IBM font, which is, the ANSI and ANSI, the ANSI standard that IBM put into place with, PC DOS and different, iterations of that. It uses a lot of those characters, unlike, ANSI pieces from, before the 2000s, where it's just mainly block characters and whatnot. Now, granted, a lot of this is also block characters, but it's less dependent on those, I would say. So, yeah. But, yeah, I will say it definitely takes a while to get to this point, right? It gets tedious after a while to, like, study and do this much text art, if only because, like, getting to this point is kind of like getting to a similar point in a similar medium, such as, pixel art, or even like another art form like, chiptune, for instance. Takes time, takes practice, and hopefully by going through this series, I get you to that point, and you can make something like this. Not in a snap, of course. This took me, like, what, 6, 7, 8 months? It took me a lot of time. Not enough to encompass a full year, but, yeah. So, there's that. I guess we'll just start off with this lesson just doing basic text art, right? We're just going to do just basic text art. That's the guided portion, and then, yeah. Thank you. Like I said, it took me, like, It took me like 8 months, if I remember correctly. It definitely took me like more than half a year, for sure. But, yeah. So, text art. Where do you want to start when you want to get into text art? Well, probably the most obvious, okay. Probably the most obvious, place to start is this guy. Good old notepad. If I can find you. There you are. There you are. It's looking a little bit funny on my end, so... Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't know. Windows, like native Windows applications now just kind of look funny on OBS. It's crazy. It's kind of weird. But it should be enough just to, I guess, essentially see this for how it is. Could crop it a little bit, but nah. I'll just keep it how it is. It'll just be black. It'll be like a cinema. It'll be like a cinematic piece. It's like, whoa. So, text art at its core is essentially that. It's art made with text. You know, dollar signs, S's, and whatever these are, whatever you call these, you know, lines, slashes, parentheses, and whatnot. Something that a lot of people do for text art, first pieces of text art they ever made, this. Good old smiley face. Let's zoom in on that guy. Let me see. Okay. How do you zoom? Okay, there it is. Control plus. Look at that guy. Oh, there, little feller. So, yeah. A lot of people's first piece of text art might be this, might be this, might be this, or it might be this. No matter what it is, emoticons are the most basic form of text art, right? After that comes, you know, simple forms. You know, so here's a head. Here's some arms. Here's a tail. As you can see, it's very easy to make something with essentially just like basic characters, right? So, you know, what if I want to give this little guy fox ears? Oh, look at that. Now they have ears. What if I want to make a sun, for instance? It's going to be a little bit of a crappy sun, but it should be fine. Probably. Oh, as well. Insert is your friend if you're starting off with the good old notepad. And look at that. A little bit of a scuffed sun, but you know. Oh, look, now he's smiling. Now you can't say it's scuffed. Now you made it. See, it's very easy to make a form and to do, like, to make a form and to convey an emotion using the simplest of, like, you know, characters, right? So, no, that's very basic text art. But there's more advanced, like, techniques that you can do, right? So, for example, a lot of artists tend to have different ways of conveying line strokes, if you know what that is. Line stroke in art is just, you draw with a pen or a pencil and it makes a line, and that's it. That's the line stroke, right? So the way we do that in text art, it's not an advanced maneuver if you know it, but it's like, So let's say this is thin on the bottom, this is thin on the top. Look at that. And then, so as you can see from left to right, this is, it just grades in the bottom and then it goes up to the middle. That's what the little s is for. And then for the S, the big S, that is when it's just starting to get over the top. $sign is to make sure it's all filled in and whatnot, to make sure it's more fuller, if that makes sense. And then, the up sign and the apostrophe serve the same purpose as the first two, the period and the S, but on the top. So, I can make a really cool S with this. If I can actually, as well, you could also use something like a semicolon in order to convey that as well, though it is better if you hold off on it. I'm just going to use the apostrophe. And by hold off on it, I mean, like, use it when it's really necessary. Because you don't want to, like, oversaturate it and make it look all meh. Just realize I'm kind of making it in the opposite order, but that's fine. I'm just going to do that. There we go. It's fixed. So yeah, pretty nice looking S that we've made right here. Let me actually extend it a little bit. Yeah. Can make it look like the it's trailing off at the end. You know what? Actually, look at that. I have to zoom out. Actually, control. Yeah. So now we've made this very flowy kind of as it kind of looks like it's dripping down a little bit, or rather, looks like it's starting from here at an angle, then it kind of like looks like it's running down, right? So, yeah. Of course, this isn't the only way. You could also just like do it this way. So this, and then trying to think. I guess it's really, it really only works for like modern monospace fonts like this one. If you're trying to do this in like ansi font, this gets into the center, so it's like, oh, okay. So yeah. E. And now you might notice these periods, they might not fit. Might look a little bit jank. As well, you could also intersperse some other characters. Like, say, if a thin line works better, you could put a series of hyphens instead of a series of periods, and they'll more look like a line, right? So, yeah. Now the E doesn't look that jank. So, yeah. Hello, Rabbit. How are you? It's good to see you. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. I'm doing all right. Just going through, I guess, the basics of ASCII art right now. Doing like that. Ah. There you go. Of course, that's not to say that this is strictly, or rather, what am I trying to say? That's not to say that ASCII art or text art is as I write it on the screen right now. But once you get started with it, it's like, wow, okay. I think I can get the hang of this, I think. At the very least, that's how I feel about it. Like, once you start getting a feel for it, it definitely becomes a lot more comfy, you know? Yep, after a while, with enough practice, it becomes easy. You start to get more comfortable with these sort of, stroke textures, I guess is the best way to describe them. And yeah, that's mainly the gist of text art, right? It's organizing these characters in a way that essentially creates a more cohesive overall picture. I guess that's also true of art as well, but with text art, it's much more obvious, mainly because in without context, like if I just took like this A for instance, you would be like, okay, that looks kind of like an A, but like, what's the point of it? But if you take it all into context, like this word easy, it's like, oh, okay, it's spelling out a word. So, thank you, by the way, Rabbit. It definitely took me a long time to make this, but the work was definitely worth it. Anyway, ah, yeah, that's essentially what ASCII is, at its base. But as well, there are different ways of making ASCII art. Probably the most familiar way of, what is it? The most recognizable way of doing it is, yeah, exactly. I was gonna say the most recognizable way ASCII art is made is through generators, right? Like, image to ASCII generators, and I have seen instances of that on Battle of the Bits a lot, especially from one person who I will not name, but generally automated a lot of their entries. A lot of ASCII art is automatically generated through, image to text generators, mainly because, it's very easy to program a sort of interpreter for that and translator into ASCII art. And, yeah, a lot of ASCII art, you'll see it nowadays, is basically just, plug it into the converter, post it on the website, there are different styles of ASCII art as well. I know something that was very Sonic Crackers. Oh my gosh, I forgot. Yeah, that game had a lot of ASCII art for some reason, which is nice. It is nice to see something like that in like a non-computer game. But anyway, one style of text art that I saw a lot during the 2000s and the early 2010s was Braille art, right? So a lot of people would have, this Braille art in their bios, right? Welcome in, by the way, Cosmo. Glad to see you too. Hope you're doing well. Anyway, there'd be a lot of Braille art. Let me see if I can get an instance and copy it in here. Braille art. So let me see if there is. Six dots art. There we go. An instance of that. Not really a popular instance. A lot of the Braille art that I saw was of mainly just anime characters, right? Like, trying to think exactly who. Probably like Edward Elric, because like Full Metal Alchemist was super popular. Like it's still popular, but like when its second anime first came out, it was super popular, and you would see it everywhere. Anyway, example. So, an example of Braille art is something like this, for example. And I call it Braille art because obviously it uses the 6-dot standard that. At very least, I think American. I'm trying to think. There's like an international Braille standard as well. Hold on. Yeah, so it's based off the Braille standard, of course. The international standard for interpreting letters and numbers for the blind, right? 6 dots and whatnot. And I saw this everywhere back when I was a kid, right? Like obviously not of something like the Liberty Bell, of course, because like who even remembers like the Liberty Bell? That's a rhetorical question. I mean, obviously others do, but like when you're a teenager in like the 2000s, who do you actually care about it? I guess is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, yeah, Braille art was an example. As well, there was Shift JIS art, and this is based off the Shift JIS standard. I'm trying to see if I can get an example. You know what? Yeah, let's use this one. Never mind. Let's see if I can get a non-transparent example. There we go. No, I want. Okay, can I get a preview? Thank you. So, Shift JIS art is based off the Shift JIS standard, and usually that looks like this. So there's no doubt like someone has seen Shift JIS art. I mean, I definitely have. I typed some earlier. That technically is Shift JIS art. The little fox dude that I made earlier, fox NB. There you go. And my captions are not working. Anyway, a lot of Shift JIS art is obviously predicated on Essentially, just using as many characters as they can. Shift.js had a lot of characters in it. Had a lot of Western characters. It had a lot of Japanese characters. It essentially just like, I don't want to say challenged artists to basically use as many characters as they could, but it's clear that Shift.js has a different style comparatively to, say, Western ASCII art, which for the most part, this is pretty popular Shift.js emoticon here, or at least a pretty ubiquitous style of it. Meanwhile, our emoticons just look like this. Maybe like this. Maybe it'll look like this. you know, a lot of customizability, but very limited in terms of like what you could do with it, unless like you had character map enabled, and I mean, then again, I'm pretty sure a lot of Shift.js artists had character map enabled, because I cannot, unless they also have like the codes memorized in their brain, which probably. Hi, Red. Hi. Oh my gosh. How's it going? You just caught me rambling about text art again. Going on this whole tangent. But yeah, that's Shift.js art. Going good. That's good. That's very good. And now my captions work. Great. Anyway. That is essentially Shift.js art in a nutshell. And there were many others as well. But I think it's fitting just to like, I guess not stop, but like leave it off at like, just a basic explanation. Because if I try and like go into like the deeper history about this, I would be rambling about DOS ANSI for probably the rest of the stream, and I'd rather just take this hour and a half to more or less like demonstrate both ANSI and ascii as well. And I already did one technically, so I guess it's time for me to, well, I guess good. Nah, I'm gonna demonstrate the latter, because I'm I guess I'm way more comfortable with ANSI than I am with ASCII. So at the very least, I've had more experience with the ANSI, or not, yeah, ANSI font. Made so many things with it. For those who have actually missed it, if I can bring it back up. There we go. This is something that I made within the course of, I want to say like half a year. Start from the beginning again. Yeah, let you experience it, I guess. Thank you. If I remember correctly, I made this in 2024, last year. So I started in like January and completed it in like July. So probably 6 or 7 months. So yeah, that's basically this classic. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that's basically, I don't want to say the limit to ansi. Like, you could probably make something more impressive than this, but I guess that's the potential of ansi. You could make like a comic that goes on forever with this, but that is not what I'm making today, because I do not want to I don't know, destroy my hands or something like that. Oh my gosh. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be, if I can get the right, guess I'll have to save this first, because window capture does not like it when I do anything. TAA1, there we go. What we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing something a little bit simple. A little bit something for, you know, time of year. It's spring. It is a lovely spring day, by the way. Oh my gosh. It is absolutely beautiful outside. So, we're going to make something that's a little bit more spring-like, you know? So, let me get canvas size set and we'll be on our way. Actually turn up the music as well. Thank you for the follow. Follows are anonymous, so if you want to lurk, you can lurk. But as well, you can also introduce yourself. Oh, I mistook a follow alert, a raid alert for a follow alert. I'm stupid. Anyway, hi Birch. I'm all over the place today. I'm all frazzled. Yo. Oh my gosh. Birch raid, Birch raid. Thank you for the raid, Birch. Oh my gosh. I am so silly sometimes. How was Hylix? How was Hylix? I know I was there for like the last few, or not the last few minutes, but like the first 2 hours. You beat it? Oh! You destroyed Gibby. Such a great final boss. My gosh. I'm sorry I wasn't there to witness you like destroy Gibby, but at the same time, congratulations. I will have to watch the VOD to see if there's anything that's gonna replace Hylix and I guess it's not Moonage Monday anymore, is it? Well, maybe it could still be that. I don't know. It's up to you. Anyway, for everyone who just joined, who are not familiar with me, hi, I'm Big Lumpy. I am a text artist. I'm a pixel artist. I am a lot of different things. I just recently started streaming, and right now what we are doing is we are making a springtime piece. Which, speaking of, there we go. I was just about to expand my canvas, and I was like, oh, hey, thank you for the follow. Oh, whoops, it's a raid. I recommend watching a fight that was nearly a TPK. Ooh. Yes, I will definitely watch the fight. First and foremost, we're going to get some of this underway. So for those who are unaware of what text art, or rather, what ansi art is, because I just went over what text art is. Ansi art is a form of text art primarily on DOS, right? So there's a lot of different things with it. In particular, if we go into this colors menu, which you cannot see because it does not capture the menus apparently with this. Yeah, it's gonna be it's not gonna be anything that like exciting. It's just gonna be a standard spring piece. If we enable in the colors menu use ice colors, we can make, yes, magic is definitely going to happen. It's just not gonna be the exciting kind of magic, I guess. So if we use ice colors, oh, that is bright. That is super bright. There we go. we use ice colors, we can use the bright shades as background. And that is useful. You think it is exciting? That is good. That is very good to hear. What we're going to be doing in particular is something that I did start on the last time that I did this. So, initially I was going to make a tulip. But during that stream, my internet kept cutting out because both a Spectrum truck was there and the wind. Typical Midwestern things that destroy your internet. So, yeah. So I guess this is a little bit of a run back. We are going to be running this back, and we're going to be making a tulip without any internet problems. You know, as tulips are known to not have. And yeah. So like that. Make it a stem a little bit shorter. Definitely make it seem like it has a little bit more volume for sure. It doesn't look like it's just, there we go. So like that. That'll be our stem. And as well, we should get some grass in here. Oh yeah, that's right. I completely swapped the colors from last time. Oh my gosh. Not a problem. Do that. Do this. Oh. Hold on. Colorize. Where is the background option? There you go. Colorize. Oops. Okay. Did not have it set at that. Okay. Colorize background. So it's like this. There we go. And then we colorize the foreground as a dark green. Definitely not an intended effect, but very fixable. Like that. Magic. Go, and then afterwards we'll do this. It's a little bit glitchy, the program that I'm using with the different what's it? With the different colors. I don't know why, but it struggles sometimes. It struggles sometimes. There we go. A little bit of a bright patch of grass, so we will definitely make that a little bit less blinding. Actually, we'll probably come back to this later. Because I do need to still make the actual flower itself. So, let's see here. We want a tulip. Pink tulip, actually. So like that. And actually, make it bright pink. Just to more or less accentuate the lighting that's about to come into play. So like that. And there we go. It's not playing anything? Oh, it's just supplicating. Let's see here. There we go. Let's see. That is a tulip. It's a very nice tulip. Alright. So textures for grass, we definitely need a lot more of these slashes. Oops. Thank you, Birch. big giant tuft of grass. Let's place you down here. Okay. Different now. We got shade. See how good it is. At the same time, I feel like I need to make the lines work again. Like doing that, yeah. More accurate. Kinda loud? Let me turn it down. There we go. Thank you, Red. So that's the tulip shaded. Let's see what to get away with on the tulip by itself. Let's see. Actually, no. Those are more like could be that I'm a bit quiet. Let's see. Max out the volume on this because the max out the volume on this and then turn this down a little bit. Because the webcam mic is a little bit quieter than the audio interface mic. Do too strong of shading on here because I don't want it to come off as too too strong a light, if you know what I mean. Like I don't want it to come off as like the sun is so bright. I mean, I guess I could get away with that, but at the same time, also like, nah, I don't want it to be like, I don't want the sun to be too bright, if that makes sense. I don't want to overpower the shading on this. I guess it kind of works, but at the same time, I'm like, Alright. So I can't decide. Let's expand this a little bit more, because I remembered there was actually 50 rows long. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. And... whoa! Alright, so the sun. Oh no, the sun is going to explode. Don't let that happen, Nubby. 35, 36. So obviously this isn't how it's gonna turn out in the end, but it's good to have like this basic shape at first. Then we can make it glow and be awesome. Be wicked and cool and awesome. There you go. Now it's an actual circle. Now it's an actual circle. So. So obviously we're going to have a glotacular circle in the middle. Alright, so that's where the glow, I guess, will start. So, well, actually no, midpoint of the glow. Oh, you know what? I totally did. There you go. A little bit of horizontal distortion on this here piece, at least with the glow, since it's atmospheric light and doesn't behave like I guess not normal light, but like light in here on the ground. You know what I mean. It behaves differently. Probably thin out this as well. There we go. And as well, I can do that over here. That, and then actually, there's an easier way to do this. Hold on. Give me that one. It's got a thing with programs like Moebius here, and types of text art such as ansi art. There are actual tools where you don't. It doesn't force you to type all the art. I personally try and type all the art if I can, but if my hands are getting cramped, I will definitely just switch to a tool like this and just go ham with that tool instead, which is nice. Prevention of carpal tunnel is better than adhering to some sort of standard of authenticity or whatever. Like, I'd rather not just get carpal tunnel. Alright. That. Do this. Oh, that's right. That just comes from the middle there, huh? But I'll just keep doing this. And then contrast on the snugs. Thank you, Two Spaces. Oh, it's definitely coming out very nicely. Gosh. Watching this is magic. It definitely feels like magic from an outsider's perspective. Like, when you first start doing it, it's kind of like, okay, how the heck do I do this? BRB? That's fine, Coach. Have a good BRB. Yeah. But yeah, it's, I guess I'll reiterate this when Birch comes back, but, when you're first doing this, it definitely feels like some sort of like ancient art that you're like learning. I know it's not, but it feels that way, and I think the feeling definitely takes over your mind a little bit more so than say the actuality of it. Like, this stuff is from technically from a bygone era, sure, but that bygone era has only been bygone for like a couple of decades now, and it's wild. It's wild to think about. It's crazy. This came from this art form came from an era when like this kind of art was kind of the most you could do without, like, you know, getting a bitmap making program like I want to say Deluxe Paint because I don't remember if Deluxe Paint was actually on the DOS systems or not, but you know what I mean. This is 5, right? Yeah, this is 5. I don't know why I thought it was 4 for a moment. 3, 2, 1. Counting an eye. But it's cool. Alright, time to fill this in. Actually, I just remembered there is no fill with character tool. Oh well. Oops. One of the things that would be nice to have in a text art program, just like fill with this character, right? I guess that kind of takes away from like some more of the skill from it though. But I'm just thinking from like a carpal tunnel syndrome standpoint, because text art is one of those things like you could definitely, if you're not careful enough, you could develop carpal tunnel from doing this. It would definitely be through just like extended use though, and not like, you know, oh, you do it for like one day and suddenly, oh no, you have carpal tunnel, right? Because that would be silly. But I could definitely see like any of the acid group or ice group artists just gain carpal tunnel because of their output. I mean, then again, they didn't really do... They aren't as prolific as artists are nowadays, let's put it that way. Let's actually wind this a little bit. There we go. And then for this one... Ah, that's what it was. Okay, it was a factoring issue on mine. Never mind. I thought it was off-center. Oops. Oh my gosh. Trying to think what the heck else. I guess we could put a cloud in there. Put a cloud, put another cloud. Put a clown in there. Nah, I won't put a clown. That is ridiculous. Why would I put a clown in there? So, sort of like that. There's a far away cloud. that. And now I can do this. Yeah, I got Valve Bed's radio playing right now. It's not showing up for some reason. I'm gonna actually fix that real quick. Oh, I see. Hold on. There we go. Sorry, I changed my layout a little bit in preparation for what the heck is it? For Thursday's stream, because Thursday's gonna contain a huge update. Mainly because it's gonna be a very special stream, but I will explain that at the end for those who are not in the know, I guess. Just for everyone else as well. Do it like this, even though it doesn't really fit. Actually, no, it doesn't fit. Never mind. I'm gonna do it like I had before. Well, this doesn't work definitely now, so let's do that, and then this as well. The darker I make it, the more it looks kind of like it's a dual. It looks like it's like, what is it? It looks like it could have the potential of being just an innocuous cloud and a storm cloud at the same time. That's crazy. But let's make it an actual rain cloud. Let's just blue. Do that. And then we can do this. And then rain. Wow. Anything else I could do? Let's see here. Well, we got rain. We got tools, got sun. I'm trying to think. Could do a bee. We could do a bumblebee. The bug, thank you. Look at this fuzzy little guy. Actually, no. Only bird has a little. Have no. Schmucker, oh my gosh. Where is it? F6? Okay. Okie dokie. And then... some other really better characters for, like, wings. But, yes, not. Oh, there it is. Look at that little bee. Little chunker. I'm trying to figure out what the heck do I do next? We could do a rabbit here. I think that'll be it afterwards. Do a rabbit, and then a big ribbon that says Happy Spring. Rabbit. So might be making a dog instead. I don't know. Well, I guess one way to say it's rabbit. There. Actually, no, that's that was stupid. Actually, probably way better way. And then rabbit. Where the heck am I just... Can I put... Oh... That foot looks malnourished. Oh my gosh. Hmm. Torpy little face. Okay. I guess this is the rabbit we're going with. Torpy little guy. Keep doing a Dr. Doofenshmirtz impression. I don't know why. Look at this little goober. This little goobert. Gosh. I think I will leave this piece off here. So I'm struggling to think of what else to add. I guess I could try and add like one more thing, but at the same time I'm also like, eh. I think it looks good as it is right now. Very nice springtime piece. Let me save that. Let me save that before I destroy it. In a blaze of fire! Gosh. Alright. Well, I guess that is the end of the stream, so I will, before I sign off and we go raid somebody, let's talk about next stream, because next stream is going to be a very, big one. I have not promoted yet anywhere. I have not told anyone except for maybe my closest friends about this. But on the 8th, I am going to have an affiliate party, because I recently made affiliate. I mean, obviously, because I have met all the requirements, and I've been putting it off mainly because I wanted to get all of my, or at least most of my affiliate stuff all sorted out before I go forward with this. And I have now, so yeah, next stream will basically be essentially a party. It will be a translation and time stream, so, you know, Windows 98, Windows 95, stuff like that. But there will be, for the first time, affiliate stuff, emotes, subscriptions, bits, etc. You can do whatever now. I will try and have channel point redeems as well as bit redeems ready for that. And yeah, I can't promise anything, because, you know, life, it's volatile. But the 8th is gonna be a big stream. But on that note, thank you for attending this session of the TechStart Academy. Hopefully you learned some stuff. Hopefully. Let's find someone to raid. Where are we going? Let's see. Out of everyone whom I follow, who is Quasar still alive? Let's see here. Trill Girl is having her 5th stream anniversary. See, same category. Let's rate someone I'm not following. Let's see here. You know what? Let's rate Game Boy Guide to the Galaxy. They are a what's it? They are a retro game channel. So you know, kind of similar stuff to what we were doing here. Although he's playing the games and not making pixel art. Right now it looks like he's playing a game called Rodland. So yeah, he's a Game Boy collector and he has a massive collection of Game Boy stuff. So you know, always a new game over there. So yeah, yeah, the 8th, be there or be square. Thank you, Red. Thank you all for watching for today. Gosh, I need to get some water. I need to hydrate. Be excellent to yourselves, be excellent to others. Try your worst, do your best. Stay hydrated, always stretch. Practice good posture, and all noobs. And I'll see you on the 8th for that big stream. Okay, bye.